Hello, everybody. I am here with Colleen,
Hello.
and on this episode, we are excited to have Sarah Lee.
Hello.
And Sarah is actually joining us from Australia, and it is very late or early, however you want to say that, where she is. So, Sarah, thank you so much for being with us in the middle of the night.
Pleasure.
And Colleen, you met Sarah in Mount Karama, correct?
Yes, I did. In our class on Japan with William and I, and on Mount Karama, and we had such a good time together. It was what both a lovely class, but I also really enjoyed my time with Sarah.
Thank you so much. Same, it was amazing time.
It really was.
It
And
was.
she also just had her article published in the spring issue of Reiki News magazine about that trip. And Sarah, that was a fantastic article. And your
Thank you.
photos were so good. Just it was really I was just like, wow, because you wrote it almost immediately after the trip.
That's right. I think reading through that article, you could feel what I was feeling it. And it was actually channeled through the Reiki when I was writing it as well. And one of the things I found through the Mankrama that I healed some part of the trauma that I had it during university time. And as I mentioned to you before, I used to write articles. I used to part of the university newspaper clubs, and I did so much better when I was in Korea. But then I went through the Me Too kind of trauma, and that never been actually solved. And when I was in Mankrama, that actually moved, and I found who I am, what I meant to be. And through that process, I could write it in English. I was amazed. I still got it.
I really hadn't even processed that part of it that you wrote it in English because it's really, I mean, it's a great article. And like you say, you can feel your heart and the heart of the mountain and the heart of Reiki in the middle of it. It's really truly for any of you that haven't seen that, it's beautiful.
Yes, I'm so grateful for all that synchronicities and the journey that Reiki allowed me to be part, and amazing classmates, and the flavor. I still can remember the flavor of the mango. Made me very hungry at 2:30 a.m.
With the kaiseki cuisine, the
Oh,
Sugaku-san. Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Oh. That was so beautiful. And the spring water when you wash your hair without any hair product. And the
Right.
yeah, the fresh airs and the energy of the mankrama, the collective energy of the classmates and the teachers, and even that the Japanese inns, the tradition they carries, and just everything was just out of the imagination. I wish I could go back.
Well, we actually are scheduled this year and the same dates in October, November, and then we actually also just scheduled 2026 and the same dates
Yeah.
in October and November. So you might just be able to come back.
I've been actually really praying to Reiki and say, oh, I wish this is my journey again. I wish I could manifest again. And last year, my joining to the class, I think I was the last one who joined the class as well because
That's right.
I tr- yeah, I wasn't actually seeing myself to be able to manifest because of the situation, the monies and everything. But then I just leave it to the universe and see if that's really going to be happened. And that just happened. I was even thinking, all right, when I got my Reiki 1 and 2, I saw William picture from the Reiki Healing Touch book, and I saw the mankrama, and I instantly knew that I'm going to see him. I'm going to be here. I instantly somehow knew it. And when the Mankrama class came, I was like, whoa, that is in human minds, that's impossible for me to manifest that much money and having that time off. And I literally thought I'm going to go to Korea, which is that's where I'm from. And the class was cheaper, and I thought maybe that's possibility there. But then the Korean class got canceled. Yeah. So I thought it's the universe say no, don't discount on what you try to manifest. You gotta go. And so I just contact and see if there's any room available in the last minute. And Diane emailed me back said, yeah, just one available. And I was like, oh no, that means I need to go. And the early year of last year, I actually wanted to sell from engagement ring, which I broke up, and marriage got broke up, and I didn't need the ring anymore. So I took my diamond ring to resell the market, and they say a lot of them say they don't want that diamond ring, is not value at all in this time. And even the pawn store say, oh, we can offer you 2,000 Australian dollars. It's barely nothing. So I thought I'm just gonna keep that money, keep the ring to make piercing or something for my son. And when I decided to go to Mount Krama, I was like, oh, I need to pay deposit and flight now. How am I gonna make the money? And the intuition straight away said, put the money on a marketplace. And then I asked instantly, how much? It's 5,500. Okay. So I put on a Facebook marketplace, and in 2 days, just 2 days, someone walked in with cash to my work and bought a ring.
Wow.
Wow.
I know. And the person who bought a ring, because the diamond is actually Forever Mark, which is a American diamonds and American company who makes a really good card of diamonds, and only few people knows the value. And the store manager of that Forever Mark actually wanted to buy a ring for a long time and been saving cash. And that was just synchronicity. She had the cash ready. She came to my work, pick up the ring, and bought a ticket to Japan.
Yeah, just synchronicity.
Absolutely. It's
Thank you, Reiki.
that's right. And when I think that one of the things we wanted to talk, and we always talk about manifestations, it always comes to my understanding is that you have that the divine, or you have the purpose, that you have a intentions, but then also requires your action, which I was follow the instructions. They put the ring to the market, so which I did, and I sit back and observe and see that synchronicity works.
Wow. Well, and how interesting too that it was like a ring from a relationship as you are like in this transition period in your life, and it provided you this trip, and that's a really interesting part of it as well.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that absolutely, absolutely. I think we see everything as, oh wow, that's a coincidence, but I believe that is planned, and we just discover that as we go.
Yeah, wow. That's
Yeah.
so beautiful. Well, what brought you to Reiki in the first place, Sarah? Like how did you discover Reiki and, you know, What's your journey around that?
So as I mentioned, I had broke up from my previous marriage. I was in over yes, and now with the separation, over 13 years of relationship, and we had amazing times. We built a family together, had a beautiful son, but then my the partner went through very difficult mental health issues. At the end, it's lead up to the addiction to substance, which he was always relapse. And at one point, I realized that our life direction is not going to the same direction anymore. And I was still contemplating, and things happen, but then the universe, like, no, Sarah, now you have to move up from there. That's not gonna be your future anymore. And some dramatic events happened, and you would say that it was quite dramatic breakup, as one point that was involving with police and some violent situations and all that happened. But then because of that, I was able to completely move up from the relationship without having to destroy my life or my son's life any further. And I think that was the gift for me, and it happened just day before my birthday. And I always appreciate everyone who helped in that transition, including divines, for me to starting a new life from it. And when that happened, although the time when I went through was really tough, because all the trauma you're going through and pain and grief, even if you are separate with the relationship, believe me, if you were in a relationship over 10 years, you love that person, right? You have a beautiful memory together. And just losing that person's, it is a really heartbreaking moment. But during that moment also we were living a lot of fears, that if what if this happened, what if that happens, and we were just trapped in the fear. And one night I remember my son played basketball and had a little injury. He was vulnerable, so he was sleeping in my room, and I put my hand and I pray to God, please send me a healing energy to help him. And I suddenly felt the fires were came from the heavens and landing from my hand to all the way to his legs. And I was shocked. Oh, what is this? It was a really profound experience I had. And then following day, I just went to work as ordinary. I used to work at the public health system in Perth and working in a cancer center as a clerical staff. And happened to be one Reiki master came to me and say, Sarah, do you want to try Reiki? I can offer you Reiki, because normally Reiki is for the cancer patients, but I know you work for the cancer patients anyway. So why can I offer you your Reiki? And that's how actually I was asking, what is a Reiki? And that was the moment I was looking for the answer.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so then from there, did you just find a teacher, or how did it come to you that you were gonna take a class and learn about it, or
So from then, I looked for I knew instantly that is the something that I need to do, as deep inside, even though I wasn't truly connected to my, ancestors and especially my great grandmother from my mother's side and my father's side and all that healing and spiritual background. But I instantly knew that Reiki is something I need to discover more. So I searched someone does a Reiki near my place, because I wanted to try out. I always said if you want to make a pizza, you got to try the pizza first. So I went to Reiki Master, who offers Reiki. So I first experienced the Reiki, and that was just amazing experience. All every part of my chakra points was awakening and feel electricities. The thing is, the Reiki master who did the Reiki to me, she also could feel that, and she was saying that this is first time felt this strong connection with energy, and and I knew that oh, okay, this is something that I need to go further. and and then I took a Reiki 1 and 2 from the other Reiki master who were available at that point, and she was trained by another Reiki master who I think would have been a professional member from the Reiki organization as well, came to Perth and taught her. And so she taught me a Holy Fire Reiki 1 and 2. And after that, I was also continuously doing that. And I had the strong feeling that I need to also giving a healing to cancer patients at cancer center where I also worked. So I was starting to, soon as I got Reiki too, and did my practice to people around me and whoever needed Reiki to make it certain hours because that's the criteria for you to be able to volunteer at the Cancer Council in Australia. So which I did that and made the compliance. And after that, I've been I volunteer at Cancer Council since. Yeah.
So go ahead and tell us something. I know that you told me you do quite a bit of work with the cancer patients. Do you want to go ahead and
Yeah.
talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. See, every cancer patient who comes to the practice are very spacious and having a very different experiences in connection with the Reikis. And I'm truly grateful to be part of their healing journeys because it's feeling very different to any clients that I do in my private practice because I think a lot of them are just on the door of death and life in that situations, and you see how much then it's clear what is important to your life when you're on that last moment of life. And it is when I do the session with the cancer council, I get so much healing because Reiki comes through me and then also goes to the patients, and the 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 witness things I've witnessed is so profound. I can't be thanks enough. And one of the case was the one patients who were actually clear from the cancer from stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma is not aggressive as much as other cancer. There's more possibility of healing, although her case was a variant with very aggressive variant and difficulty. But when I was with her for Reiki practice, what I witnessed was pretty much Christ came and putting a hands to her shoulder when I was actually doing a Reiki. And I saw Archangel Michael's on the side and Mother Mary on the other side. And I was just so vulnerable. I was just on the feet and I was just grounding here because it's just divine. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna stay on the feet and ground and witness this. And after the sessions, and the patient said, "Wow, I felt the Jesus, I felt the Christ, I felt the angels. Did you feel that?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's why I was on your feet." And that's one of the case of experience I do in the cancer center and cancer council when I witness things as miracles, and also even she's saying to herself that when she does her chemo, even the nurse said, "You are a miracle." Everyone, the doctor said, "You are a miracle." That is kind of all the angels are talking to her through all these wonderful people say that you are a miracle, you are loved. And that's a reminder of who she is. And she's got clear. And we are so happy. And she is actually ninth of the patient who got cancer free since I come back from Mankrama, that I have met about 10, no, 15 cancer patients since last November, and about 10 patients got free from cancer. And it clearly gives me idea that cancer center, cancer council is not the place you come for cancer. It is place for you to be healed and meet the divines. Yeah,
That
and experience all that.
Wow, that's extraordinary.
Absolutely. And yeah, some of the cases are very difficult, and some of them are still going through the radiations and chemotherapy, but definitely uh, connecting to the divine and having the faith. And it is helping the patients in the physical healings as well as finding what is really important to their life in these healing journeys is. And just even if that is a patient that has no faith or whatsoever, but they just want to have a someone to be company and witness their journey, and I'm there.
that's such an interesting perspective switch on
Yeah,
the idea of going into a cancer center.
yeah,
I think that there that that could be really beneficial for a lot of people and a lot of volunteers that go
yeah,
into those centers, especially with Reiki. I think that's really beautiful. Yep.
absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely.
go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. The Cancer Council experience is extraordinary. The healing that comes to provide to the patients are all different and based on the needs of the patients. Definitely also, I noticed that since I come back from Mount Krama, being Reiki Master, I get a lot more patients coming to my appointment, my door. It is not my intervention. The universe keeps sending me the patients, and there's a time I could clearly feel the particles of excess of radiations, and that Reiki clears off the excess of the radiation that doesn't need in existing on the body. And when I do that, and even patient like, I feel the electricities, particles around me, and the Reiki amazingly just clears it up. And the different also of energetic feeling of sometimes the medications and chemo in the patient's body that's causing the unnecessary side effect. And sometimes I felt like the heat, unnecessary heats are in the body, and that's with the Reiki that washes it off and washes it off. And that's another experience also I have. Another profound experience I had was it's actually coming to the door of how I do my past life healing these days as well. But one time I was treating these cancer patients, and when I was doing Reiki, I was clearly meditating the river of the peace, the meditations, and I was visualizing myself. Of course, also the patient actually herself, the conscious level was quite high as well. She was meditating quite a lot, and it intuitively drew me into that place and going to the meditation. And I was actually with the patient and taking her to that piece of the river and washing her off in divine water and all that. And after the session, and Claudia said, Sarah, today was different. I actually had a meditation that you're actually bathing me in the river. I was like, what? We had so what it Reiki comes and lead me to that specific visualization. It also aligned with with the patient, and she also had the same energy. That's and I believe that is what you require in during the session. So I go with the floor and listen to the intuition, and that's something that I experienced, and I was like, okay, every time when I get those kind of experience, I get more um, trusted in the divine interventions and trust in intuitions. I'm not imaginating. I am not. This is the intuition. Is this telling me? And yeah, so it's a beautiful experiences I do have, and yeah, my commitment that I have is every Tuesday I see a cancer patient, at least five. That's been every Tuesday since I returned from Mount Krama, and more you healed, and your understanding of the Reiki gets better, and you can serve more people as well.
I wanted to ask just a bit of a clarifying question. You had said the Cancer Council. Is that
Yes,
is
that's
that
right.
what it
Cancer can.
is that what the clinic is called in Australia, or is that like an energetic council that you mean?
So in the hospital, we have a cancer council, which is the organizations that offers the complimentary Reiki services to the patients, and they not only do Reiki, but they also offer the different services like mindfulness meditations classes and some yoga classes. But the hospital that I am volunteering at the moment is predominantly we offer Reiki
Oh, that's
services.
amazing. I love that. When you were saying that too, though, I kind of had this picture of like these ascended masters and energetic beings helping, I
Yeah,
think, this council that are also helping as a part of this, Reiki experience,
yeah,
people that like you've described that you've experienced with them.
yeah, yeah. That's
Mm.
definitely there's interventions, and definitely, I mean, thinking of the how Australia governments and the system can be quite difficult, but we still be able to offer this service is definitely not humans intervention. Absolutely, there is a guidance and divine intervention is there because of the needs of those souls. And yeah,
What I just wrote down um, as you were speaking was it sounds like soul to soul telepathic communication. Like when
yeah,
you were talking about the woman experiencing the river of peace, well, you were experiencing the river of peace and that divine counsel that was working with all of it. It was like, oh, that's what this is. Because so often we do think, am I making this up? And then when we get that kind of reassurance or validation from someone and we realize, no, this is actually real and it's happening, and then the results follow through. And sometimes I don't, we don't know how to describe it because it's so unique and indescribable, but the experiences are real and the
Yeah,
results are real. And so that's what it came to me, that is soul to soul telepathic communication.
absolutely. You're absolutely right. And I think because of that and all the experience and the witness I do during the sessions, and even the experience myself, how I drawn into the Reiki was purely looking for healing for others, and for my son is starting with the love, and is starting to find who am I and what is the purpose of me being in this world, and why I'm here, why I'm angry, why I'm not angry, what am I doing. And when I was traveling down, and when I was in Mount Karma, it came into the realization. When you read the articles, you will see it all. It is comes the awakening moment, um, that I love this human experience, and I am the witness, and I'm the made out the breath of the God's love. I'm made of the love. Love is what really important. So when I
Well,
see, yeah.
um, I loved the quote that you put on the agenda. So, full transparency, we always have a little bit of an agenda when it comes like questions and things like that when it comes to our podcast. And one of the things that Sarah put on here for some of the questions and topics of conversation is the quote of nothing else truly matters, whether we are right or wrong, if we do not embody love.
That's right. That is, it's coming to me that it's so important at this point of my life to talk about it, because as I just starting my business, and there's so much to learn and so much to take your minds away and distractions going on. But at the end of the day, it's nothing is matter if you not embody your love. Even look, this even this Zoom call, if I don't have love to want to others, even this Reiki practice I have, if I don't have love to what I do, love to myself, and love to every single soul, what is the matter? It's just obsolete being. And I just come into that realization that, oh, okay, we've been really working hard and pushing ourselves to get to some point, but we always need a time to really sit on the back and say, yeah, it's whether you're right or wrong. At the end of the day, love is the most important thing. And even any relationship, I get a lot of the clients comes with anger problems and other traumas problems. And I truly believe that when you come into the awakening and understanding, you are at the end made of the love. Like you're one of the invocation, you realize you are made of the love. You are the love. And I always think that is the truly that is important thing for us to embody, yeah, to
I,
talk about.
It's
I,
often one of the hardest things to remember, I think, when life is challenging and, um, right now things are so divisive in the world and
Mm,
polarized in the world. And really, when we get to the basis of it all, first of all, human beings love greatly. It is the truth of our nature, and we can forget that everybody has that depth of love. And
uh,
like you say, that is the empowerment that really makes it all work.
Absolutely. Couple of days ago, I was still contemplating to send you the email. What are we going to talk about this? And I was sitting down in a cafe and I bumped into this stranger, total stranger. I love to talking to a stranger. And he's a gentleman's on his I think 80s, early 80s, and we were having conversations how we were looking at the rivers and see how the Perth where I live has changed last 40 years and 50 years. And that's lead up to the story of my great aunt who went through the war, Korean War after the World War II. And that's when I was talking about my great aunt's story, it comes to, humanity, I want to talk about that. I would love to share that story. So, a couple of years back, I went to Korea, and there was happened to be a moment talking to my great aunt, and she was sh normally she wouldn't talk much about her mother's or her story much, but that was the moment that she disclosed a lot, and she was saying that all my great grandmothers and herself and other great aunts were living in Hiroshima in Japan, and they decided to smuggle back to Korea, whatever the reason, just a month before the World War II end, and there was the nuclear bomb happened in Hiroshima. So normally, it would take half an hour for them to smuggle from the Hiroshima to southern part of Korea, where my grandparents lives and my parents lives. It's only half an hour distant, but because of they were smuggling during a war, and they only could smuggle at night, island to little island. It took a month. When they arrived, there was nothing left. Everything was gone, and they restart their life and settled in. And soon after, the Korean War started, and all the North Korean soldiers penetrate really deep to the South Korea. And my great grandparents lived just right bottom of South Korea, and they were even there. And I said to her, "Wow, what an experience! That would have been so tragic. And will you be okay?" And she said, "No, actually, it was fun to my teenage eyes." I was like, "What?" Please. Well, to be honest, you're thinking there are, at the war, and all the movie story and all that, but particularly that because of the North Korean soldiers were also the communists, and they had models as well, and I think they went through the difficulty of World War II and coming back to fight for their own people. So they had their humanities, and they had that, even though they are condemned as a enemy, but there was something that connection human to human. So at night they all gather at fire pits and sing a song, and they just take a warmth out of the fire pit. And my aunt was sitting next to North Korean soldiers, and share the foods, and that kind of story. It really warms my heart, and that's a humanity. That's when the love really comes in. And that's what I would say. In that moment you were thinking, doesn't matter, right or wrong. Doesn't matter you are North Korean or South Korean, that we are standing together as human beings. And yeah, forever remember that, And we don't want to repeat the history, of course. We don't want war and all that, but that the connection, it is something very special that we should, I think, cherish and remember from her story.
That is an extraordinary story.
Yeah.
I think you see
Yeah.
that so much in the where there are times like that, like on the everyday level, neighbors
Mm.
helping neighbors. I live in a small community, and there are differences and opposite opinions, but we have a private Facebook group in our community, and um, I mean, it's not tiny. It's like 15,000 people. So it's not tiny, but it's not like 500, but it's also not big like a large city. And if people put out a request for help in all different manners, like
Yeah.
our community comes together and supports each other. And last year we had a pretty bad storm, and you just saw in trees falling on properties, and people stranded and stuck and no power for weeks and things like that. And I know you see that in a lot of different areas, especially right now in the world. But it was just always really amazing because you would see just neighbors helping neighbors, coming over with their tools and their equipment and helping a neighbor get out of their driveway. And on the Facebook page, like, hey, my elderly neighbor, can somebody come and help? Like, they need this and this and this. And so you see that a lot, and it is that reminder that even though on that same board we can have a lot of arguments as a community, when it comes down to it, there is that support and that love, that kind of breaking bread with each other. And it can be
Yeah.
helpful in times when things do feel on a greater level so challenging and so divisive, that when you get more on that micro level of neighbors together, that you do see that love and that humanity together. And it is kind of what can pull you through the challenging times of that, to remember that.
Absolutely, you're right. I th- and as also when it comes to right and wrong, it comes also your egos and your assessments. But then, as for me myself and being a Reiki master, we practice before we serve. I mean, before we do a session, we always pray that please set my egos and as assessment of the side, and divine energy will comes and served. And I think that's the way also I would love to, as you have a Reiki lifestyle, so I love to have that lifestyle of putting my egos and my assessment and what I think is right, but it cannot be override of love, override of a human's life. And and especially when you see the energies comes for the clients or patients, and you realize how much individually been so carefully carried by these divine energies, a profound love, you feel that. So that's why when I treat others, and when I even to myself, I always remember how much we got treated with love and respect by divines, and we should live that yeah, lifestyle.
I agree, Sarah. It is one of those things of like, what adds more kindness to the world? Me being kind
Mm,
to others,
yeah,
that it's even in those disagreements, can I still be kind through it?
absolutely. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
actually think I will hold the image of your aunt's story of them sitting around at night and
Mm,
soldiers of enemy territories, quote unquote, enemy, sitting and singing and eating together and truly sharing love.
yeah,
I will
absolutely.
hold that.
Mm, mm.
It's like that Christmas Day in World War II, right? Where
Yeah,
they talk about I think it was World War II, could have been World War One, but it was the same thing where they had a peace, and they celebrated Christmas Day together.
Playing
yeah,
football.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm.
What's interesting, Sarah, is that one of the things that we do in our, not just in like our classes, but as a part of our work, is the spirit of our Reiki practice. Colleen's talked about that. She has articles about that. Well, when I did that work as well, what mine is actually love. And I find it really interesting as I'm talking to you, because when you meet somebody like you, that you can hear it in your voice, you can feel it in your frequency of energy of that love and that frequency that you carry, you can recognize that. And as I'm sitting listening to you, because you meet people like that, and especially in these modalities where you're like, gosh, I wish I could vibrate at that frequency all the time, because I feel like you just comes through you. And so it was surprising to me that that was the spirit of my Reiki practice. Not that I don't believe all of the things that you say, but I would think that if you met me, you wouldn't necessarily feel that same frequency in the same way that when you meet you, you feel that frequency. And so I'm just listening to you, and I think, well, how interesting that is, though, because how does that manifest in all of the different ways that it can manifest? Because you might not expect that from me in comparison to meeting somebody like you, but what does that mean even for my own practice? What does that mean in the definition of who I am and how I interact with others, and um, how it's different than maybe somebody that you can very much feel? It's a visceral feeling like it is with you. And
Yeah.
I'm just listening around that with like the Reiki energy, and what it's kind of showing me even in this moment, that it's okay that it's a little bit of a different definition, or a little bit of the difference of the frequencies of it. And that, because we were just in Disneyland this last week, and I can't go on all the rides because of like they hurt my back and my neck and stuff. So I get to sit, which I love. This is like my favorite. I get to just sit and watch people while, my husband and the kid and the group that we travel with, they all go on like the bigger roller coasters and things like that. And I got to just sit and watch people and go into that place where you can just watch them kind of drop their human suits, although that's a part of our love as well as our humanity, as you said, but just drop into that place where you can see each of the people walking by are love at the core of their being, that breath of love. I love that description that you said, that breath of love, their God selves, things like that, and just drop into that place. And it's a really fun thing to do if we're able and we're in a place where we can do, especially a place like that. I like it when we're in the most kind of, places like that, like the grocery store, or, a busy place, maybe even the airport, things like that. And it's occurring to me now in having this conversation with you, that there's so many different forms and expressions and frequencies and ways we can understand it within ourselves, that gets to be our own definition of it. And I always have kind of thought, because I'm not necessarily like hold the same level of frequency in my waking life, like that when you meet a person that holds it like you do, that, gosh, is that actually like, is that available to me? Does that occur to me? Is that my practice? Like, is that truth? And even though I know that it's truth, like I don't question that, I trust it, but continuing to learn from it and learn about it. And in this moment, I am learning like, oh, wait, it just looks a little different, and that's okay.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's the beauty of individually we are all different, so that Reiki's energy, and because individually everyone need a different way of healing as well, so that can be also be able to healed and resonate with different people with different needs. And interesting, your talking about that because recently, that's always been my front that I have a divine energy of love, and that's always been my shield, my heart. But then, as I open my own practice, I like to share the story of my private practice clients. So, and because of her, I actually found other the avenue or other frequency, and completely something new that came to me, and I followed intuition, and now I'm doing a past life healing through that. So this client messaged me and said she wanted to see me. And okay, so I made an appointment with her, and I was clearing my room, and I light the incense, and I come back and to check my room, and I saw a line of the incense dust on my table, which was my intention, and I had that chill moment. Whoa, this is got something got to do with death. And I was like, whoa. I was just quickly brushing that off. And then I relight the incense, and I was doing other thing. I come back and I saw another line of the incense, which was the first experience it's line of the incense dust isn't meaning anything, but my intuition say, you gotta prepare something big is coming. I was like, whoa, am I ready for it? But then I was like, okay, right. The divine wouldn't bring anyone to me if I am not capable to actually go through it. So I seen her, and she had such a dramatic experience that her father got murdered when she was very young back in India. And she had that uh, I don't know whether she actually did manifest it or she believes that it's a black magic, but definitely there was some entity problem. And also the trauma she has is profound trauma. Not only that her father passed away early age, murdered, and also when she came to Australia, her first husband took her baby back to India, and she never got to see her baby. And then she remarried and second married, that didn't go well, and she had one son. And when she had third child, the husband forced her to have abortion, so she had to abortion her daughter, would have been a daughter, and she lost the third baby. Not only that, she had a lung cancer tumor, and so that she removed that. And you can imagine the trauma, the level of she came was completely blocked, and she could not feel anything in her body, and she doesn't know where she is. Pretty much she was just disconnected from the world, and going through her that's treating her, I met I was doing I was treating her, and as usual, I was grounding, and the grounding is suddenly got deeper. You know how when you do 12 heavens experience, I believe that you're using going upwards, right? But when I do my grounding, it's my interpretations. Everyone is different, but I am going down to ground to the Mother Earth. And then this time, somehow the Reiki guide me to even deeper. So I'm going even much, much deeper. And I was landed to somewhere, it was sacred temple. And then I starting to meet the characters and gods that I never met in before. And I was also doing that, when you're doing the Reiki meditation, you're starting to write. So I was starting to write whatever comes to my meditation, and come to the meditation, starting to write. Then after the session, I was talking to clients. Oh, I seen this monkey character came to me. I was, oh, that's the Lord Hanuman. I was like, oh. That's the God that she was praying when she was a very child. When she was child, and she used to pray, and I saw Guanins and all her sacred divines were there, and it was awakening from them to help us to go through her healing journey, and there was. From that, we did so many sessions, and at one point, we even the skill that has developed to be able to even go into her past life and went right down where that her life was started as we were at the Garden of the Gods with the Lord Shiva, and all these beautiful Hinduism gods were there. And then she was the part of the flower of the garden. She started from her life, and then somehow like an elevator, I was going upwards, and I was stepping into different life form that she had as and the point where she needed to be healed. So that point, I remember that class last month class, that how are we going to heal the past life. And I remember our paradox is not about trauma. Bring the find who you are, and bring the gift and talents, and release that and be rejoined to the current life. So that's where okay, from that moment that okay, so this is your past life, that you were a gardener. Let's embrace who you are and thanking yourself there. And my consciousness wouldn't allow me to know what exactly happened. I think it was more than I could handle, and as well as for the clients. So we didn't go what exactly happened, why she were there, but we embraced and we asked Reiki to heal for that moment, and be rejoined and bring the gift and talents back to our current life. And that's how the been taught by Reiki how to do the past life healing pretty much. And after that we found that, wow, did you see that? I was questioning, I must be a dreaming, but it wasn't. She also saw what I saw. And I was like, wow, okay, this is a new clear clear sense that I also discovered through the practice. And after that session, I was like, you know what? I think I need to go to your temple and pay my respect to God Hanuman, because I think there's a reason also he present to me, and I have intuition that he want me to come and see him. So she said, "Yeah, I'm taking you to the temple. You come along with me." So I went to this Hindu temple, which about half an hour away from where I am. And when I went there, what I met was Lord Shiva. The energy of Lord Shiva was present there, and I could feel that he was like, "Yeah, I was waiting for you." And I was like, wow. This is a completely different what I wasn't expecting. And I was sitting down there and basically paying my respect and having an energetic conversation with him. I don't have that recall what human mind, what can I say, the conversation, but I was just simply there, embracing his energy, and we had an energetic soul to soul conversation with Lord Shiva. And then coming back to my memory, that someone from my grammar class asked me, so how do you, if you are seeing your energetic uh, connection to spirituality, or as described as your guidance, how do you describe? Some people would say just the higher self or just energy it is. But for me, through the story paradox of religion really helped me, because that's easy for me to understand the energy, like the love is love over Christ is unconditional love and things like that. So I would say with Christ in front of me, I have a Guan Yin's in the back, I have this Isis on my left, and I have a Shiva on my right. I remember that I sang that without knowing who was the Lord Shiva. And I don't know if you can see that there is a little quote I put it there in my practice before even I went to temple. I was doing one of the personal developments, meditation and things like that, and the word came strongly to me was inner sky, which means your unlimited possibility in your unconscious world. And it is called Anta Akash, which is from the Hindi, and it is the statement of the Lord Shiva. And I had that in my practice even before I went to practice. So everything was actually leading up to that. And after I was embodying that Lord Shiva's energy, I suddenly one of the elder from the Hindu temple came to me and said, "Look, we have a celebrations for the God Hanuman this Sunday, which that was I think was Thursday or Wednesday. And do you want to come and talk about Reiki?" I said, "Sure, why not?" And I went back on Sunday, and there was around 300 people were there in temple, and the priests were just giving me a microphone to talk about Reiki, and I just came with a complete surrender, and I was came with complete surrender. I don't know what to say, so I said, "Look, this is a Reiki. We open this divine energy to come and heal our life. And this is a 5 principle we practice just for today." And I talk about the 5 principle. And I know that whatever comes out from my mouth wasn't the main thing. It was the presence of Reiki energy through me to the people, and the connection was what it was really needed it. So I was really stoked how I've been a vessel to be connected to people who needs healing. And since then, half of my clients for my private clinic is backgrounds from India or Pakistan or Sri Lanka, all those different um, and and even not only the Hinduism, Sikh, and all different religions, and it opens my eyes that how much those people are also so much loved by universe and living in Australia away from family, going through the lots of traumas and illness, and they need the connections with divine again from apart from being away from home. And those souls are being guided to me, and I treat them with the same love, that how the Reiki came to me. And yeah, that's an amazing experience.
So I kind of want to go back to the part about the past life healing with this woman. And the next thing I want to do after this is just ask how she is now. But it's one of the pieces that I think is so important to realize how Reiki actually does the healing work that it does is exactly what you described with her. Because when I used to do, not used to, but for, all of these years that I've done past life healing, for the longest time, I would ask to heal the past lives. And I would be taken to these just like really horrific experiences of people's past lives. And finally, one day, and the same thing, talking to spirit in the session and asking, like, why did we have just these terrible past lives and terrible experiences. And Spirit said at the time, that's because that's what you're asking to see. Ask to see the lifetimes of mastery. Ask to see the gifts and talents of other lifetimes. Ask to see the lifetimes of ordinary contentment. Ask to see the lifetimes of just natural wisdom that people have, because we have those too. And so it flipped the switch in how past life healing was actually working and how we teach it, as you say, in the classes that we teach, the Next Step and 12 Heavens classes that we teach. And it really flipped how we perceive that, because what we've discovered is the most powerful healing that happens is when the empowerment of those gifts and talents are brought back, is actually what strengthens the person. It gives them their vitality back. It gives them their gifts and their talents back from these amazing lifetimes, the way you described hers in the Garden of the Gods. Just you think of that being hidden from her. It's still there. It's
Mm,
still within her soul's knowing, her soul's
mm,
memory. It's even within her whatever cellular memory, maybe even in this body. And how do we get that awakened? How do we get that opened up? And that's what Reiki has really shown us, that the powerful style of healing that it does is by bringing that back, by waking that up, by getting those gifts and talents back into then their daily ordinary life right now, bringing it back to the now.
absolutely, absolutely, you're right. But then there's a time that I had a past life healing of one client, and she didn't had any vision or image, or so do I. And I was just going through her back, and because this time the Reiki say, "Oh, to the spine," so I was going through her spine, and we found there was something on her, like back of the chest, and we both of the client and myself, this is a bit, and then we're trying to, and then we, okay, let's pull this out and then let's heal with the Reiki, which I did. And Reiki came and then healed. And she had the really heavy chest pain just by me action, just that, for 2 days. And I was like, do you need to go to ED or something? But she said, no, this is exactly point that we actually worked on, remember? And after that, it just gone. She had something in her chest and that moved, and she's much, much happier. And life is much lighter. And wow, that's experience.
Well, and do let me clarify, because I missed that piece. We also have that part of it where it heals those parts of those lifetimes that we do have intrusions. I know for myself, I've definitely done both past life and ancestral healing that's very real and very valid, that affected
Mm,
this lifetime. And then it reveals the gifts and talents that were
mm,
hidden because of that injury. So
yeah.
I forgot to mention that part of it, because yes, we can have those lifetimes of, they can be pretty bad. And like you say, you may not even know why it was there or what happened. It's just an intrusion, or we know we can have, old curses or oaths or vows spoken that can affect this lifetime. And at the same time, the way Reiki actually then completes it is by restoring those gifts and talents that then
Mm.
empowers their vitality and our life force in this lifetime.
Yeah, I found it is, especially for the past life healing, is so powerful that I will have to say I'm learning as well as I go through the clients. Clients are the teacher to me.
Yes, absolutely.
So I would say if I did say 10 clients for the specific past life healing, I found that 7 of them found it pain next day in some part of their body, and they go through that. So all the time I say, you may find it pain in next days. I know we are just putting on hands on, but you may find it. But they do, and it's so powerful, and I can see the immediate difference from the clients, especially the client that I was talking to you, that how she was completely disconnected. After this past life healing, that she called me and said, Sarah, this is crazy. I have such a dramatic time, and I'm so upset. I said, why? I've been saying something that I would never say in my life. And I was like, what, you say F words? And she said, yeah, she's a lady, Indian lady. So she wouldn't say anything like F words, but I've been saying these F words. And I told my ex-boyfriend, now ex-boyfriend, who was lying and he was cheating, and he said he was married, but he wasn't. And I told you, I'm not your second bitch, and F, 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 and she said that. I said, to my uh, flatmates, and you're lazy, you didn't do this and that and that, and they were starting to mopping, and you know how the life I said to her, healing comes with the pain and comes with unexpected things happen to you, but after the a week or two you look back and see, wow, I've been empowered through the pain. I've been empowered. And I remember still our last session with her. We were laughing from the beginning to the end, talk about the life, talk about maybe new boyfriend and silly thing. And I remember how she came with shattered and cried for 1 hour to that laughing, and she know that she going through the emotional roller coaster, and she has a challenge, but she at least felt her emotion now. Before, she was completely disconnected to it. So it's Reiki works. Oh my God.
That's incredible. And
Yeah.
it's like it can be so unexpected, like you said, and it can be uncomfortable. And then
Yeah.
yet you see at the end, it's like she's got her voice back, in
Yeah,
all of the different ways that that looks. She got her voice back.
And
that's
what a
right.
funny outcome. I
Yeah.
bet she's like, well, who knew that was trapped?
I know. You had a
Bunch of
fire in
swear
you.
words.
And that's why I was saying, if I hear anyone the throat chakra, and now saying, if you say a F word, it's just because you are holding too much back.
The divine works in mysterious ways.
No, I love it.
Yes, yes.
Too good.
Uh,
Well, Sarah,
yes,
you've said, and as Colleen has had conversations with you, and knowing you a little bit, you're relatively new to a like a Reiki business. What are
yes.
some of the things that you'd like to share about that? Or, I don't know, but what are some of the things that you'd like to share about that process for you?
I think thinking of the Reiki practice, I have to say this is my 3rd month, but even before being a full-time practice, I used to have 1 day a week practice opened in a very large shop that it's like a pop-up store inside the shop,
Mhm.
and they had the changing rooms and then etc. So what happened was I was thinking and asking the Reiki, it is my path that I have to open Reiki practice, having my own business. And I was continuously asking, and I knew that if it is my path, it will comes with ease and grace, and I will be guided into it. And one day I was just walking to the a shopping center with no reason, seriously, no reason. And I walked into this store. And one moment when I realized, I was talking to the owner of the business, asking, can I actually use your one of the changing room? I'm going to put a chair and starting to give a Reiki to people and meet the people. And she said, yeah, why not? So $50 a week. I got one little chairs, and somehow magically I got curtain in. I got this little table to put the crystal in, and starting to be there, just be there, and embody my intentions really, and starting from that, I, of course, I went to Mount Krava and become Reiki masters, and I found myself and purpose and got stronger understanding of embodying who truly I am, what is my personal purpose of this life, and got it into my practice. And it's it, having a practice is to me is a like manifestations of intentions and the inspiration from divine and putting your actions and your observations right. And it is, you would like to not just jumping in and all right, I live my life, and then I just go and Reiki's everything, let's go. Maybe if you feel like you have to live whole your life for that, and you might also wanted to think, is this my um, intentions or my ego, or is this the guidance of divines and your life purpose? That maybe I will also asking that and giving that advice to someone who would like to start a practice. For me, getting this practice room was also divinely guided, and I wasn't fully ready in my human mind. I was distant a little bit whether would I be able to do that. And then my life, for example, my family member were, okay, Sarah, you are going to do this business. You can stay in my house, and I had this provided for you, which is another kind of the backup that divines brought to me. Say, Sarah, this is what I'm providing you, so you don't need to worry, go for it. So everything was like a synchronicity. It was set because I meant to. And even meeting this room owner was very nice, and it was out of the coincidence I met her and giving me a room. And after I paying this whole room that I have, and I only had $100 left after pay deposit, everything, I say to Divine, look, I trust in you, and I only have $100. I don't know whether how I'm gonna fill this room with the massage chair I need and table I need, everything, and I and then suddenly the one of the speech from Toastmasters that I trained myself to do speaking, and one guy was saying, you gotta ask because you don't know what others' value are like, and they might have a different value measurement as what you believe. So I actually looking for the master's chair, and I sent this person and say, look, I'm opening the Reiki practice, and can I offer you Reiki, and would you mind to free the Reiki, the massage chair to me as in exchange? And he was messaging me back and said, no, you take it as a for free. And but all like 80% of my room, even this big frame of, I dreamed about it. And this all came from this person who has a wife heavily affected by cancer. So she wanted to open her Reiki practice and got all this. and she couldn't open. So I say, you know what, I saw your biography and you're doing this wonderful thing. Take it because that's what my wife wants. Take it. So this room got filled by divine and given to me. So that's you know, sometimes yes, you gotta find your if that's the purpose and that's what your root, you gotta trust that, and also you gotta put your action to it, and then you gotta observe how the synchronicity works for it. And that's, I think that's starting with that is I think that I would like to mention. And also I think as challenges comes to me, for example, one times I was doing this Instagram because I'm heavily rely on Instagram to promote my business, and there was a time that somehow the Instagram starting to shut down my account, and because of the whatever because you know the payment they charge between the Facebook and Instagram, there was, I think, an upgrade happening, and they kind of seized of the campaign I was doing. And it was quite frustrating if something that unexpectedly happened. And I was like, you know what? Anything that is unexpected to happen, it is the opportunity for me to learn and overcome to that, and so that I can grow from it. So when that challenge happened, then okay, I'm now doing a campaign between both on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm working on my landing page. That is now telling me, okay, it's time for me to expand the channel of the communications. And that is the beauty part of doing your own business, that you can forever grow, forever learn. And it's so exciting. Like my new MacBook today.
Yeah.
I have to learn.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. The trust that you carry is really inspirational
Thank you.
in all of it. Yeah.
Well, I think the other part that I really heard too is you said you set the intention and then actually took action. And then
Yeah,
the piece of that taking action was the both confidence and sometimes courage to ask
Mm.
and then receive and say yes to the receiving. And so that's what I hear with everything that you just described is that you did all of those pieces and followed because just walking through the shopping center the way that you did, something was tapping you inside to follow that. So the guidance was there.
that's
The way
right.
it all works, you can just see it line out the way it all worked.
I think also important that even though how much busy I am, because when you're doing your business, you are accountants, you are a marketer, and you're also provider. You're doing all, but always I will have a time to meditate and do self-healing. And also I do have a Reiki master who taught me Reiki 1 and 2 in Perth, that we exchange Reiki healing to each other, that kind of support. And I always asking synchronicity Reiki to bring a right people to guide me. And sometimes yes, the action I need to take, then I will hesitate because I'm the human too. Then I'll sit with it and give self Reiki and asking myself and trying to be also in alignment, as you say, higher self and your human minds and your authentic self, and going through that and say, what is me slowing me down from taking that actions? and I heal from it. And once I did that Reiki, even if it's a 10-15 minutes, and I come into the inside, like there's no reason now, let's do it. I just go with it. Yeah,
Well,
but
and we do need to add that component to it, that and truthfully, and Robin and I talk about this all the time, everything we do with our Reiki business starts with Reiki. We use
abs-
Reiki, we receive Reiki, we do self Reiki, we do invocations before everything that we do to activate the Reiki energy. So those guidance centers are open and we can be in that receptive mode. And like you say, sometimes heal those areas where we can either have resistance or blocks or limitations or, old beliefs about our possibilities and let it come in and then present the new possibilities, the new serendipities. And then, like I say, sometimes I think that courage to ask is and ask for the help is a big one. And I know when we were in Japan, you talked about that you were going to be going back to Australia and starting with Toastmasters
yeah,
to gain the training for more public speaking and confidence in your public speaking. And then look at how that even led to your room.
that's right. That's right. I think I kind of learned to have that sense, I would say sensitivity, or open my ears to see if any opportunity to try new thing and learn, and taking an action and grab that opportunity, because that can be very short moments, but then that new learning and opportunity leads up to something greater than you ever could expect. If I wasn't taking that Toastmaster, and the inspiration in me, in a voice to say you gotta do this, and I'm saying what for, what for, and then if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't be trained to speak about Reiki in front of 300 people,
Mm.
or right, and or even having that confidence to having a conversation with you. That is all lead up from lead up from that, taking the opportunity with complete trust, and that's also coming from the healing and finding your authentic self, and trusting your own. So it's an ongoing developing and floor of manifestations.
And
Yeah.
it lasts a lifetime.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
earlier when you were talking about how, the different guides were in front of you and on each side and how you had the realization that they had been there already before you knew you were going to meet them, and particularly Lord Shiva. And so I'm now, well, a lifetime into this, but really 25 years into very active spiritual development and spiritual awakening. And I will tell you what, I have had in the last month to 6 weeks, the most incredible, like, I don't know how to say it, but all of it coming together in that same way that you just described it. Like, oh,
Yeah.
look at that. And one of the big ones for me has been meeting Lady Wisdom. And
Mm.
she is, and of all places, I heard about her on TikTok. And it was somebody's video. And I mean, she came to me in that and went, I'll just come to you this way now. Maybe you'll hear me out. And then we just did a podcast with Rivka Gavert, and she is just an expert in these fields and talking about Lady Wisdom and how she is actually at the top of the tree of life, who is the animal Reiki symbol that was given to us for animal. I mean, it's like all these things coming together going, oh, oh. And it's so fun because, when people start out with Reiki, you want it all right now. Like, I just want to know all of it right now. I want all the experiences right now. And then you get to the time where you realize it's ongoing and unlimited. And that is the blessing of it, is that we get to keep doing this and having these, with anybody that is kind of skeptical might be listening to our conversation going, what are they talking about? And some of your stories, what is she talking about? But then you see the real life results. And
That's
that's what
right.
it really comes down to. There's the tangible, real life, functional results.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Especially meeting the Lord Shiva is really a big meaning to me because it can actually start from Mount Krama. Because when I was having a dinner next to you and William, I think it was the first night William said to me, I think it wasn't really exactly how he said, but he was saying that Reiki might be too easy for you because you've done in a past life and something like that. And that unlocked my past life. And then suddenly I just remember a big part of my past life and I was be able to even could tell one of our classmates because we had the connection in past life as well and her story, and when I was talking to her she was crying and I said that is my question all this time been asking, why these innocent people have to die. And because, and I was talking about her past life and I was like, you must be question this, and she's like, yeah. And starting from there, it's just like onion. You're peeling an onion, other layers and then layers and layer. And I realized that even I was driving today, I realized in my past life that I already knew that I was spiritual leaders. I was doing healing and devotion to these Hindu gods, and it was Lord Shiva. I was really serving him deeply. So that when I healed my past life, when I was in Mount Krama, that connection to the divine, it came back to me with the wisdom to how to work with past life healing, which I never get to learn in the other way, but it's just transferred to me. And now I've been drawn into the this Hindu temple by God Hanuman, and then following that, couple weeks after, I've been praying for my friend who heavily affected by cancer in Bali. She believes in Hinduism, so I was praying for her for 3 days, and I realized last day of praying was Mahashivaratri, which is one of the biggest Lord Shiva celebration for Lord Shiva. And I'm going through, and during that period of time, I went through the huge energy changing within me. It was just, I couldn't see anyone because I could feel the fire was just amazing amount of fire, and I was almost close to how we experience before you become Reiki master. You know how you have challenging your energies changing. That's how I felt personally. And the third day, I decided to do this fasting as the celebration of the Mahashivratri, and that's where, boom, I have released to be able to really see clearer and be able to channel that past life healing just came alive. And since then I deeply connected to Hindu temple, and tomorrow, no, day after tomorrow, 2 priests from the temple will come to my practice and experience the Reiki.
Wow. Wow, that's so amazing, Sarah.
I know. I'm sure they unconscious level that we have. Like, I think I know. I know her. I'm the only Korean person sitting in the temple
Oh, I love that so much.
with that clueless looking, but somehow I'm resonate with the
Yeah,
energy. I'm praying.
yeah, that's amazing. It was just that remembering that you were both talking about before. You mentioned Bali. You're doing a retreat in Bali coming up in, I think you said August, right? Can you talk a little bit
Yeah,
about
that's right. So we the one of the person I met in person as after the Mount Krama Reiki Masters training, I've been asking to Reiki energies that please send me someone that I can have as a mentor in WA and work together. And I walk into this cafe and I found this senior person listening to podcast talking about energy. So that's how I bumped into her. Her name is Vivienne Beer. So Vivien Beard. And I was starting to talking to her, and I find discovered that she is a very senior person in counseling, does the art therapy for entire of her life, and she has the high credential levels and worked in the public health, mental health systems, and but beside that, she also astrologist. And she done the dream work, she done the shaman move, and all that. So what we did is, I say to her, look, and what about I give you a Reiki and you'll be a Reiki 1 and 2, Reiki practitioner level, and you teach me what you know. What about that? And we starting to, that was just before I opened my practice. And we're starting to exchange our given talents. And since then, and she been working close with me and we've been a business partner. And we did a few group sessions for Reiki meditations and process work together. And when we were sitting down together, we had this a clear vision that we are going to hold the space for people to be healed and find who they are and refreshed, and something we both our talents and gift can bring something amazing to the world. And that was the last year we were talking about it. And as we were working together, it came a really clear picture that we are going to hold this retreat. So we come with the theme of saying that our theme of the retreat is refresh your mind and a just one more relax your body, refresh your mind, and free your soul. That's what we are going for. Yeah.
Wow.
So let me show you something. I know it looks like my son's drawing, maybe. So this is a drawing I did before I was before I was thinking about the our podcast and what would I like to talk about and what is really important. And I was actually drawing upside down at the moment, at the time. And I comes up that it is just drawing by my unconscious mind. It's not my theoretical minds or anything like that. I just let my emotions and my intuition guide it to draw, and I come out that yellow bit on the bottom is the divine energy, Christ love, and divine energy that holds the great purpose of love that we are going for. And that is a continuous of our authentic self and journeys in life and going through of that. Right. So it is it's through this kind of throwing art, it's allow you to really going through and experience your own emotion and process that without having a critical minds, and it free you, and it is we call active imaginations. So we're using the active imagination to really experience what's going on under just below your consciousness mind. So our retreat will be embody that experience with the Reiki. So you're going to experience your underconscious minds, and sometimes so much emotions and so much trauma is just pushed down under the conscious minds, and you don't know how to put it out, how to work with it. And yes, Reiki can heal that, but sometimes also that is important your participations of processing those also can lead up to the great healing as well. So we believe in that whoever will come to this retreat, this process and with the Reiki healing would be really benefit, and we are praying and setting our intention for that to be able to provide that.
That's not, plus it's in Bali. So,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I love that so much. Well, so Sarah, why don't you go ahead and tell people how they can contact you? I know right now you are mainly on Instagram if they want to know more about the retreat, know more, and also where you're at. We know you're in Australia, but just all of your kind of contact details that you have.
So at the moment, I'm working on our my landing page for my business. Just thank you for being patient with me. This is my only third month opening my full time
Yeah.
practice, but absolutely I'm getting there. And so, but for now, my Instagram is infinitus.energy.healing. So if you just type that, and you will be able to see my Instagram, and then you can just send me a DM for now. And we just secured the place for the retreat, and we know the dates are definite, and the marketing materials are on the way to build. But we know the estimates will be participant price will be 2,300. Uh, 2,368 somewhere around that mark in Australian dollars, which is as the retreat in a five-star beautiful Balinese traditional place in Ubud, and staying for 5 nights and 6 days and going through these beautiful programs that we offer. Not only that, there will be shamanic ceremony, there will be sound healings, and the private chef will cook our beautiful meal, that which is the very friendly to vegetarians and all these dietary requirements. So you can really just relax and refresh and just be free in that moment. And yeah, and amazing, this retreat place are amazing as well. And it's just in the middle of the Balinese traditional village, but then also have the modern facility and stuff to look after as well. So I'm very excited, whoever joining to this retreat for their healing. I'm very excited.
And for sessions, are you only in person? You said you're in Perth, correct?
Oh, that's
Australia,
right.
or you do distance sessions and people you said can DM you?
People can DM me because I think the last couple months I've been really busy setting up my practice, and I think the universe is saying to me, so Sarah, no distant Reiki, and someone literally messaged me and said, "Can you offer me distant Reiki?" I was like, yeah, I realized that, people in whole Australia and other side they need a distant Reiki.
Okay.
So that's one of the reason I got my new MacBook and working to it. So I am already starting to offer distant Reiki as well. And also beside of the one-on-one session, I do also run the group sessions, which is I used to do in outdoor, because in Perth we have beautiful parks and beach and all those area we use that we can just lie down and have the meditation. But now it's turning into the winter. I am turning over that to Zoom. Uh, the Reiki meditation experience and things like that. So that will be all published on my Instagram, and which everyone can join and experience that.
Perfect. Well, we'll have the handle in the show notes. It's infinitus.energy.healing. You can go to the show notes to find that. What I love about it, Sarah, is what we say all the time is you just start. And it's a perfect example of that. You know, I say all the time, one of the easiest way to do that is start either Facebook or an Instagram where people can DM you, you know, and just get going with something and then build your web page that you're doing and all of that. And so I think that's really inspirational and I love that as well. You just start and that's what you've done and it's incredible. It's looking at all the things that have unfolded. It's amazing.
The first step is the hardest one, isn't it?
Exactly, exactly. So,
I took that, yes.
yay, you did. I love it. Well, I think for us, everybody knows where to find us that listen to this, ReikiLifestyle.com. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today and telling us your story and your experiences. It's been just really lovely to have this time to talk to you and staying up through the night because it's very late there.
Oh, it's the morning now.
Yeah, very early, I should say.
But thank you so much for having me and be connected with me, to you all and also the listeners. And thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Sarah. I've had the leaf blower. I had to go on mute for a little bit because the leaf blower was right outside my window. But anyway, thank you so much. As always, just such a treat to spend time with you and just get to talk and catch up. Thank you. And thank you for everything that you're doing. But the miracles, wow, really
Yes.
beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It's time for me to also be part of that community that with full of love and full-hearted love people and the energy force, and it's a really loving feeling to be part of that family, to work as sharing the love and healing.
We believe it's our form of activism. It's what we
Yeah,
can do.
that's
And
right.
and why we're born at this time is to empower love. It is who we
Absolutely
are.
right.
And it
That's
is, like
right.
Robin said, we can have differing viewpoints, and then boy, when it comes down to it, we are here for each other.
Mm.
So, well, thank you. And of course, we will be in touch and stay in touch. And thank you to all our listeners. And again, you can find us at ReikiLifestyle.com.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.